our chapter 14 homework problems. There are probably going to be two problems, and this is the first problem of two. And because the problem is algorithmic, that means the numbers you see here may differ from what you get in your homework assignment. But the formulas we use should be very similar. So we're given the facts here. Distance Plus is the name of a partnership with three existing partners, Tiger, Phil, and Ernie. And you can see what's in their capital counts before admitting a new partner, Sergio. We're assuming that these capital counts have been updated to, to represent the fair value of the assets of the partnership. And we know assets are equal to liabilities, and we assume liabilities are either zeroed out or netted out of the assets, plus the equity. And this is the equity, the capital counts of the partnership. And when Sergio is admitted to the partnership, he's going to invest $150,000 into the partnership. So the partnership is going to end up with existing assets equal to these amounts here, plus another $50,000 cash, of which the total, now Sergio is going to have a 30% interest. When you see this word invest here, that means this $150,000 doesn't go directly to the three existing partners. Yeah, that would be a purchase in that case if the money goes to the partners. But this money is going to go directly to the Distance Plus partnership. Again, added to the other assets that's already there. And that total assets is now going to be a 30% interest going to Sergio, represented by his capital account. Okay, so and the question really is asking, prepare a schedule calculating the balance to be credited to each partner's account. That's capital count. And of course, when we credit a capital count, that means to increase the capital count. We learned here in chapter 14, there's two methods of accounting for admitting a new partner or having a partner withdraw from the partnership. The two methods are the bonus method, which we're using here, versus the goodwill method. And of the two, bonus is typically easier to account for. Yeah? We're doing the easier of the two methods. So let's get into the spreadsheet. We know we have to enter things in our spreadsheet as formulas. And we have 3 check my work attempts for each submission. And there's 3 submissions for the whole homework assignment. And you can submit by going back to the assignment screen here. So let's close this window. And let's zoom out to see more of this spreadsheet. Not too much to fill in here. Again, the instructions say to prepare a schedule calculating the balance to be credited. Not the balance, but the amount to credit to the capital accounts when Sergio contributes this $150,000. Again, they use the word invest. Yeah, I think our textbook also uses the word contribute. That means the same thing. To get a 30% interest of the whole partnership. The whole partnership is the total of these 4 amounts here. And again, he gets 30% of that. And because you can see here, they only want the ending answer and they don't show you the actual formula step by step. So let me kind of show you down here in this scratchpad area how to probably better understand what's happening. So let me copy this down below. Copy and I'll paste it over here. Again, these are percentages, yeah, 40, 20, 40, 30%. Let's add up all of the amounts here. So let's put the total down here. Equals sum and all 4 amounts. So the total after Sergio invests the $150,000 should be equal to a capital, really assets, 480,000 and capital 480,000, of which Sergio has a 30% interest. So let's grab that. Let's put it over here. 30% times the total capital. He's going to get 144,000 of capital when everything is over. But notice he has to invest $150,000 cash to get a capital account of 144. So the difference between the two is an extra amount he has to pay. And that's going to be split up among the three existing partners according to their profit and loss sharing percentage. So let's get that so-called bonus, the excess Sergio has to pay of 6,000. And let's split that up among the three partners. So we'll get, let's see, 40% times the 6,000 for Tiger. If I want to make an efficient formula, be able to copy it down to the next two rows, I want to always go back to this same 6,000, this F30. But if I keep it like this right now, it'll creep down to the next row and the next row, which I want to do for this D24, D25, D26. But to lock in this F30, remember absolute versus relative by putting in the dollar signs between in front of the column letter and row number, we can lock in that F30 down here. So let me enter that, and using my fill handle, fill down to the next two rows. So I'm allocating this 6,000 among the three partners. Let me total this up right here. You can see it's 6,000, so I know I'm probably on the right track. In fact, the answer is right here. See these four numbers here? 1, 2, 3, and 4 for Sergio, Let me show you what the capital account should be after everything is over. So if Tiger starts off with 125, we're going to increase it by 240,000. $2,400, Let me, let's start that over. I'm in the wrong cell. Beginning capital of Tiger plus his bonus. Now we can just copy that down for the other two partners. So they end up with these amounts in their capital account after admitting Sergio. Now how much is Sergio getting in his capital account? Not 150 the cash he has to pay, but 144. So after everything is over, here are the capital accounts of all four partners, and it should equal the total assets. So let's add up the 4 capital accounts, and we know we're on the right track. When it matches the assets in the partnership. Again, assets are equal to liabilities. Again, assuming 0 or netted out here in the assets equals the equity or the capital accounts. Let me even show you one more thing. What is the journal entry the partnership is going to record when it receives $150,000 cash? Here, let's go cash debit 150, and then increasing the capital accounts for Tiger, for who is this? Phil, for Ernie, and definitely for Sergio. How much increase? That's the bonus. Looks like I'm one row off. I should have moved everything up one. Anyway, let me copy this down. And those are bonuses for the three partners, again totaling 6,000, but the rest is Sergio's share of this 144. So total debit should equal total credits. Okay, this is the journal entry. These should be credited here, off to the right, indented. Okay, let's go back here and enter the formula now to get that. To be able to know the bonus that goes to the three current partners, you need to know the amount of capital to credit. to the new partner, that partner to be admitted. So we got to start off with Sergio first. And I know the amount, it should be this, yeah? Increasing from 0 up to 144. Okay, so how did I get this? That's the total of all of this and taking 30% of it. Okay, so let's get that total. Sum of the four numbers here times 30%. Yeah, okay, matches what I have down here. And then because he's paying an extra 6,000, we're going to allocate that 6,000 among the partners here. Okay, so basically I'm speaking English. Now you got to change that to a formula. How did I get the 6,000? Let's go to Tiger here. That's the amount of cash invested by Sergio. Let me put this in parentheses first. The cash minus Sergio's capital account he's being credited for, and taking that 6,000 and multiplying it by Tiger's income or profit sharing percentage of 40%. I want to copy this formula going across, yeah? And you notice this is a one row I want to copy across. But the input, these cells here, the percentages is a vertical row. So I'm not sure how to do that efficiently. So I have to come back and change the formula. But this B8 minus B16, 150 minus 144 is always going to stay the same. So let me kind of lock that in here by putting in the absolute address for the two cells here. And when I enter, okay, so that should be 40% of 6,000. And let's copy that across. It's going to be wrong. You can see 0 here. This D4 here. That right? Should be D5, C5. Yeah. Wrong cell and wrong column. Right here. C5. And then Ernie percentage is in cell C6. Okay, so if I add up the three cells here, it should be 6,000. Yeah? Again, that bonus, total bonus to the current partners. And if I include Sergio's share, that should equal the total amount of cash Sergio is investing. So let's go ahead and check my work. Okay, now how can I get this wrong? You know, this number 144 is correct because it's feeding into the three cells here. So the number is correct. It doesn't like my formula. So let me double check the solution. I think I have a good formula here. This is what's being marked incorrect. The sum of cells B4, that's 125, all the way down to B8, 150. What the solution doesn't like is I'm adding in this blank cell here, which I think is okay because you cannot change anything here because it's protected, yeah? But let's just add up these three cells as sum and then plus this cell down here to get the same total that's inside here. So let's continue working here and go back and change the formula. I'm just going to delete it and start over again. Okay, so let's see. Let's put in a paren. Let's go sum. and add up the three existing capital accounts, and then add in all by itself Sergio's investment. So there's the total assets in the partnership, of which this total, Sergio gets 30% capital interest. So I guess I need to put in some more parentheses here. I don't have my beginning paren. Let's see if I can click right here and open paren. Okay, so adding up the three capital accounts plus Sergio's investment, so there's a total assets, and multiplied by 30% Sergio's share. And I get the same 144, but now it should be a good formula that the solution likes. So let's check my work one more time. Okay, looks good. Inefficient to me because I was adding this blank cell here. Okay, you can move on to the next video, yeah, for the second homework problem.